Don't you know it's you, baby? Don't you know you're fresh as a daisy? Fresh as a daisy. It's either one of the cheesiest songs that ever came out or one of the most moving records. All I can tell you is I fell in love with this record when it came out. Early 1971. Got to indulge myself once again on Billboard's Hot 100. This just killed it. Fresh as a Daisy by Emitt Rhodes at number 54. It's up 5 from 59 the previous week on Billboard's Hot 100, February the 13th, 1971. Don't you know it's you, baby? Fresh as a Daisy. I mean, it's a prom classic. Anyway, for some reason, I was thinking of Marsha Brady for just a minute, thinking about that song. Well, let's talk about Emitt Rhodes. Emitt Rhodes, he was from Illinois. He started out in a band called the Palace Guard. He was a drummer. Then he got a break. He joined a group called the Merry-Go-Round. If you're from the West Coast, if you're from California, if you grew up on the West Coast back in the late 60s, you probably remember the Merry-Go-Round. They were very popular along the West Coast. And their first record, they signed with A&M Records, and they were influenced by the Beatles and the Byrds. They drew inspiration from the British invasion and from the Byrds. Their first record was Live. That was in 1967. And then their biggest hit, one of their biggest hits, You're a Very Lovely Woman. Big hit along the West Coast, but here and nationally only got as high as number 94 on Billboard's Hot 100. You're a Very Lovely Woman. Later covered by Linda Ronstadt, which is also on this Billboard's Hot 100 of February 13th, 1971, which I'll get to later on. The Merry-Go-Round, they released one album, but it was a disappointment. The singles were a disappointment for A&M Records. They were not charting. They rushed out their debut album, before the group tanked. Merry-Go-Round's first album, it stalled at number 190 on Billboard's album charts. The group disbanded in 1969, Merry-Go-Round, but the group was still under contract to A&M Records. Therefore, Emitt Rhodes continued to record as a solo artist for A&M Records. He recorded some sides, but A&M Records did not release it. Emitt Rhodes, he went out on his own. He bought some recording equipment. He created his own recording studio in his parents' garage. Now, how about that? That's a rock and roll story right there. And that's where he recorded his first album, Emitt Rhodes, featuring Fresh as a Daisy. He got, now this is, there's some conflicting information about this. I read, according to Wikipedia, he signed a deal with A&M, not A&M, it was Dunhill Records. Dunhill Records, ABC Dunhill Records. And ABC Dunhill Records, they released 3 of his solo albums, including his first one, Emitt Rhodes. But I also read years ago from another source that Emitt Rhodes, he recorded his first album, sold it to ABC Dunhill Records for $10,000. Sold the demo of the album. He sold it to ABC Dunhill Records, and they put out Fresh as a Daisy. So I'm not really sure how that went. Either way, had that one hit. Emitt Rhodes he looks kind of like Davy Jones. He's got that Beatles look. The Monkees look. Well, the Monkees kind of like the Beatles. The Beatles look. It all comes back down to the Beatles. Gosh, 3 of his albums, Emitt Rhodes, his first album, his second album was Mirror, that was in 1972, and then Farewell to Paradise, which came out in 1963, but my goodness. I hope somebody out there remembers the song. I still love it. I still love it. I'd hear the song on WTBC and I'd flip over it. 1230 WTBC, and then they'd play the song, and I'm like, God dog it, I'm in heaven. I'm in rock and roll nirvana. Emitt Rhodes, Fresh as a Daisy, from Billboard's Hot 100, February the 13th, 1971.